I was really mad because the Smiths in 1985 were not coming to Cleveland. They were touring the U.S. and they didn't have a Cleveland gig. And I was upset about that. I want to know why. The short of it is I started my own zine so that I could call up somebody at the record company and try and find out so I could report it to the whole world about how unjust this was the Smiths didn't play Cleveland. I thought of the name as just like alternative to the alt weekly in town, alternative to Cleveland Plain Dealer, alternative to WMMS. You know, all the mainstream Bruce Springsteen, hair metal, Michael Stanley, all that. And so this was going to be the press for all of us alternatives, I guess. This was the zine for the misfits.
I really liked what he was doing because it was like a whole bunch of stuff. It wasn't just hardcore and punk. It wasn't just all British rock bands. It was like all of this stuff, but it was all the stuff that was either underground, indie, you know, not commercial, not the stuff that was getting regular airplay.
We kind of had to tolerate the rise of alternative music for a while. So the word alternative really had become something where you could make money.
There were car commercials where there would be some dude saying like,
"This car is like punk rock."
Because we kind of kept ourselves separate with our own little market, I think it allowed us to survive.
We were faced with a situation where we had a successful magazine and we were, had a benchmark of what we wanted to circulate and sell. But the groups we used to cover weren't doing it anymore. So we had to decide, what were we going to compromise, what we were personally passionate about, and start to cover music that, we saw a new fan base of kind of these outsider kids, getting into.
Well, it's hard music. That's kind of like our music, you know what I mean? Or the stuff that we used to cover, they look kind of scary and kind of dramatic,
At that point in time, Warped Tour had approached us to do their tour program.
We started looking into it and we started finding that these bands there was a movement that had started up.
I think we saw within those groups a more direct link back to what we were covering in the early days of AP.
And that is generally the reason why we are, flourishing today, because we are in tune with that community and those fans.
There has to be some level of passion and energy put toward it, or it could never happen.
I never thought we'd be here 30 years later, and if you're going to ask me where we're going to be in 5 years, I don't have the slightest clue. And maybe that's how we made it to 30, so I think I'm going to continue on that road and not have a plan.